Well, another snap after hours from Apple COO Tim Cook. He's saying that regardless of who is leading the company, Apple values are embedded and Apple will do well. All right, time for now the Diamond District. The property tax fight has shifted into high gear as property values continue to decline across the U.S. So, if that's the case, why are people still being forced to pay sky-high property taxes? Here to help us challenge the power and save us some money in the process is real estate extraordinaire and happy hour regular Dani Babb. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And by the way, you're doing this yourself, trying to get your property taxes lower. How do you do it?
Well, this applies not only to the home that you live in, but homes that you have as investment properties as well. The very first thing that you need to do, and just a caveat up front, everyone needs to still pay their taxes on time, and if you're protesting the amount right, paid in protest on the check, and start there. So don't be late on your property taxes. That's rule number one.
Oh, so you can't say, hey, I'm fighting it, so I'm not going to pay.
I'm not going to pay, right. You'll get into trouble for doing that and assess the fines. So the very next step is to contact the county assessor's office, and they're going to, usually it's on the web now, they're going to have a list of things that you need to do to protest. In general, it includes getting your own appraisal. It'll cost you between $200 and $500 to do that. You can ask a realtor or a bank who they use.
Right.
I would recommend getting one or two of them, especially if one comes in really high. Taking photos of the home, and then this is really important. Often the government has incorrect lot size or home size, and that affects the property value that they have on record as well. So you want to make sure all of those ducks are lined up.
Now, I actually received a letter in the mail from a law firm saying, hey, property values are assessed too high right now. You're paying your property taxes based on what your home was valued at, in the height of the real estate, the housing market, and this law firm wanted to fight the case for me, but of course take a cut of my savings. Is that you can do it on your own?
No, it is so simple. About 60% of the nation is overpaying in property taxes.
Wow.
And it is incredibly simple to get it reduced. The government loves to raise our taxes. They don't really like to reduce it. But in this particular case, if you can provide proof and documentation that you are being overassessed, you can win your case. And I'm doing this myself. It's not difficult. Once you have the documentation, they're going to want you to mail it in.
Right.
But the best chance that you have of actually winning the case is to see someone in person. It's much harder to say, take your paperwork and go somewhere else in person than it is to do it by mail.
Yeah, because the town I live in, it's a smaller town, and I can walk in there to the city hall and see the tax assessor, the guy who basically, punches the numbers in to the computer and says, yeah, you know what, you're right, property values have decreased here.
Yeah.
On the flip side, though, Dani, if you want to sell your home and on your property taxes with your city, it says, that your property is valued at less because you were successful in reducing the property value. Right. Does that hurt your chances of selling it for a higher amount because they go and look, they're like, well, your property went down in value so and so much?
Yeah, that's actually a common misconception. It has nothing to do with the resale value of the home or what a buyer looks at. What happens is when you purchase a home, your tax is locked in based on that number. If the county that you live in happens to reassess every 2 or 3 years, then a new number is established. However, the real estate market goes up and down, and what happens is banks and buyers use new appraisals to determine what the value of a home is. What the appraisal amount is for the county has absolutely nothing to do with what you're going to get for your house.
And if the county, is it the county or the city? Or I guess it varies in the state.
It's usually the county. There are some cities that do manage it.
Okay. If they reject your request for a review and to be lowered the value of your property, is there an appeal process?
There is, and if you have an appraisal that shows something that's going to actually save you significant money, even if you have to pay $200 or $300 for another appraisal, go for it and demand to talk with someone in person, because that's where you have the best chance of really getting something.
Yeah, how much savings are we talking about? Could it be hundreds of dollars for people?
It could be more than that. I've had properties in Texas that I've saved over $1,000 a year on.
Wow.
It just depends on the value and how high real estate taxes are. You have states like Texas where you're paying almost 3% in real estate taxes. It can be a significant chunk of change.
Oh, New Jersey, too. We pay out the roof property taxes. Okay, great. So start, you guys. You heard it from Dani with your city or your county. Go online and protest the value of your property so you can lower those taxes.
And pay your property tax on time anyway.
All right, Dani Babb, thank you.